Jam Master Jay was known the world over. He was a DJ for Run DMC, born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens. His death 18 years ago still hurts.
Last time I saw him, he was in the park playing baseball with the kids. It devastated us all. We didn't know what to do. We just loved Jay.
In Hollis, a mural in honor of Jam Master Jay still sits to this day.
Rappers look up to Jam Master Jay, like, because he set the outlet for us to do what we wanted to do in the industry.
While many still remember his work, what was left unknown until now is why he was killed and who did it. That question now answered after a grand jury returned indictments on Carl Jordan Jr. and Ronald Washington.
They walked in and they murdered him in cold blood.
Federal prosecutors revealed in court documents Jam Master Jay, whose real name is Jason Mizell, had been trafficking cocaine. They say Jordan and Washington plotted his murder after they were cut out of a deal. For NYPD Chief of Detectives Rodney Harrison, these charges carry some significance.
Me being a native of Queens and being a big fan of Run DMC and Jam Master Jay, making this arrest was very, very important to me.
Meanwhile, just 2 blocks from where that crime was committed, there's still reminders of the legacy left behind.
Run DMC, they were like superheroes.
Eric Jewel Dabney never met Jay, but their stories are intertwined.
I started at Purdue Global because it was really easy to try to balance classes, writing papers.
Years after Jay was killed, he leased the same studio space where he was gunned down. He found records, home movies, posters, all left behind. He's now created a new studio space just 2 blocks away in an effort to keep his memory alive.
You see him everywhere. Murals, the one like we have downstairs, all throughout Queens and just all over. He was, a global icon.
And downstairs is where Raph painted a mural to Jam Master Jay.
That's what hip-hop is, you leave a legacy, and not everyone dies a legend.
Yo, what it is, people, we is back. Another day on Keep It G News. And I gotta agree, everyone does not die a legend. But Jam Master Jay did, y'all. And in this video, that's what we talking about. Jam Master Jay, one of the pioneers of hip-hop. The DJ to Run DMC, Reverend Run, what's my other man name? DMC. The Simmons family, Russell Simmons. He's all part of that elk, you might as well say. But Jam Master Jay was murdered, tragically, and at the time, and I've covered this topic before, I talked about how it was struggles going on with this trial, because whenever you take somebody off the streets and charge somebody for a crime that was, at the time when he got arrested, or these guys got arrested, was 20 years old, you're going to run into a couple hours.
2 men accused of killing Jam Master Jay were scheduled to face trial in February 2023, but a judge delayed the proceedings. Prosecutors urged the judge to schedule the trial against Jam Master Jay's alleged killers as soon as possible. According to court documents obtained by All Hip Hop, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York objected to a January 29, 2024 start date for the trial. Prosecutors cited concerns about delays in the Jam Master Jay murder case after one of the witnesses died. The government is also prejudiced by the extended delay as one key witness has passed away during the pendency of the case, the prosecutor wrote. Witness intimidation and tampering remain a significant concern. Indeed, witnesses in this case have received threats since the unsealing of the indictment. Prosecutors accused Carl Jordan Jr. and Ronald Washington of killing Jam Master Jay in 2002. Jordan and Washington's trial was originally set to begin this month, but a judge adjourned it in January. Last month, the court asked the prosecution and the defense about their availability for a January 24th trial. Prosecutors argued for a 2023 start date, and a letter was sent Wednesday, February 8th. Several witnesses have expressed concern about the defendant's ability to identify and threaten them, which is now an even greater concern in the light of the additional 11-month trial delay, and in recent government disclosures regarding witness statements and expected trial testimony, they wrote. Given that the government and the defense cases will likely take less than 3 weeks in total, a trial date before January 24th is both appropriate and feasible. Prosecutors suggest scheduling the Jam Master Jay murder trial for November 23. They also dismissed the need to wait for Washington's lawyers to proceed. Counsel for Jordan has confirmed that they remain available to try the case on November 23, prosecutors wrote. Counsel for Washington also stated that they would be able to try the case in November 2023 during the status conference, but now represent that one of the attorneys will be unavailable in November due to a 4 to 6 week trial scheduled to commence on September 11, 2023, before the Honorable Carol B. Ammon. Given the length of the adjournment and the number of attorneys representing defendant Washington, the government does not see this as an impediment to begin the trial in November 23 or earlier. Authorities charged Jordan and Washington with murder while engaged in narcotics trafficking and firearm-related murder. They faces up to life imprisonment.
So during that time, I was talking about this trial was never going to start. And if it do start, when? Because y'all heard all the dates that got postponed. Like I said, whenever you're dealing with a trial or a murder that happened that long ago, you're going to have situations where witnesses die, witnesses move. You know, they fall off the grid. You can't find them. And ultimately, that lessens and weakens the case. But we talking about the federal government. These guys are not arrested statewide. We're dealing with the feds, and we already know how the feds roll. We seen the feds work in O-Block case. Y'all know how they operate. They can bring whatever they want to bring into evidence. They can do whatever they want to do. But this week, trial has
Hip-hop
started.
pioneer Jam Master Jay was executed in an ambush motivated by greed and revenge over drugs. Federal prosecutors said Monday as the trial of the Run DMC's DJ alleged assassins got underway. Ronald Washington, 59, and Carl Jordan Jr., 39, are accused of gunning down Jay, whose real name was Jason Manziel, at his Queens music studio in 2002. It was a brutal crime, Assistant U.S. Attorney Miranda Gonzalez said during opening arguments in Brooklyn federal court. Washington and Jordan were arrested in 2020, with prosecutors claiming the long unsolved shooting was retribution over a large cocaine deal gone bad. The defendants had killed a world-famous musician in front of people they know, said Gonzalez, who painted a detailed portrait of the events leading up to the cold-blooded hit. It was an ambush, an execution, she told the jury. Both men were armed when they burst into the studio at around 7:30 p.m. on October 30th, 2002, court papers say. Once inside, Washington pointed his gun at another person inside the music studio, demanded that they get on the floor. Prosecutors say Jordan then allegedly approached Manziel and fired 2 shots at close range. One of the bullets struck Manziel in the head, killing him, while the other hit a witness to the shooting in the leg. And you'll learn that it was motivated by greed and revenge. Manziel has served as a middleman for the cocaine shipments once his Run DMC money began to dry up by the mid-1990s, prosecutors claim. As the spotlight for Run DMC started to fade, the money wasn't coming into Jason Manziel's as it once was, so he turned to drugs to make money, Gonzalez said. Prosecutors alleged Manziel was earning hundreds of thousands of dollars in the illicit trade. One such transaction, known as the Baltimore deal, allegedly involved the shipment of $200,000 in drugs from New York City to Washington, D.C. And before his murder, he had acquired 10 kilograms, 22 pounds of drugs, which Mr. Washington, Mr. Jordan, and others were going to distribute in Maryland. Mr. Washington, however, got into a dispute with another person involved in the scheme, and Manziel cut him out of the deal. He and Mr. Jordan then showed up armed at the DJ's 24/7 recording studio in Jamaica, Queens, on the evening of 30 October 2002, prosecutors alleged. A third man named Jay Bryant was arrested in 2023 and will be tried separately in 2025 or 2026. Authorities offered a $60,000 reward for information related to Jay's death, but witnesses remained silent and the trial of clues in the case went cold. However, prosecutors said things didn't go as planned. With the 10-kilogram coke deal, the distributor allegedly did not want to work with Washington. A childhood friend of Manziel, which left him cut out of the deal. It also meant that Jordan, Manziel's godson, would lose his share of the proceeds Washington was expecting. It was this slight that led the men to ambush and kill Manziel, prosecutors claimed. On the night of the murder, Manziel was sitting on a couch playing video games at his 24/7 studio on Merrick Boulevard. Gonzalez said the famous DJ had a .380 caliber pistol on the armrest of the sofa, fearing for his safety after a visit from Washington earlier in the day. People close to Jason will tell you that the days leading up to his murder he seemed different, she told the jury. Jay Bryant, 49, who was also indicted separately for his role in the killing, led Jordan and Washington to the studio through a rear entrance on a fire escape, according to the accusations. Manziel rose to her feet upon seeing Jordan enter the studio, who prosecutors said then put a .40 caliber bullet in his head, killing him instantly. Gonzalez noted that the fatal shot was fired at such close range it burnt the hair and skin on his head.
Prosecutors also noted Jordan's careless indifference about the killing, claiming he later made statements that if Jason Menzel was still alive, he would kill him again. Lawyers for the defense briefly addressed the court, proclaiming their client's innocence and casting doubt on the reliability of eyewitness testimony of more than 20-year-old crime. Carl Jordan Jr. did not kill Jason Menzel, said Jordan's attorney John Diaz. This whole case revolves around 10 seconds, 21 years ago, a blink of an eye, a generation ago, said Ezra Spout, Washington's attorney. Lawyers for Jordan have said his and Jay's family were neighbors and that their fathers were friends. They maintained that witnesses saw Jordan, then 18, at his pregnant girlfriend's house at the time of Jay's murder. Spout went on to say that Washington and Menzel were like family and conceded that his client was an alcoholic at the time, who would frequently crash on the hip-hop DJ's couch. If that's the case, why bite the hand that feeds you? Why kill one person you depend on? Also testifying in court today was Detective James Lusk, who was now with the Queens District Attorney's Office, but was with the 103rd Precinct at the time of the murder. Lusk testified that in the moments that followed, Randy Allen, a business partner of Menzel, who had been present for the shooting, sprinted on foot across the large municipal parking lot separating the studio from the precinct to report the crime. Upon arriving at the studio, about a minute later, Lusk found Menzel unresponsive, lying on the ground in a huge pool of blood, and Allen's sister, Lydia Hyde, who identified the shooter to police 9 months after the crime, crying hysterically. Jurors were then shown photos of the crime scene, which included bloody pictures of Menzel's body wearing white socks and a beige sweater, laying on the floor next to the couch with a PlayStation 2 game controller nearby. Under cross-examination, Michael Houston, one of Jordan's attorneys, questioned the detectives about why they didn't photograph the fire escape through which Jordan and Washington had entered the studio back in 2002. Lusk said he was unaware of whether any photos were taken at that time. Washington's lawyer, Jacqueline Castero, questioned why none of the 5 people in the studio at the time of the murder called 911. The detective said, "I don't remember anybody calling 911, but later pointed out that it would have probably been quicker for Allen to just run to the precinct like he did rather than placing the call for help." Jordan also faces gun and cocaine charges in the trial, to which he has also pleaded not guilty. Although he has no prior adult criminal record, prosecutors claim to have footage of him selling cocaine to an undercover agent and further participated in drug trafficking. Jordan was arrested in 2020 after allegedly selling narcotics to undercover law enforcement officers 7 separate times. Washington had been near the end of a 17-year prison stint after a 2007 conviction for a string of armed robberies in New York City and on Long Island, where he was indicted for Menzel's murder. Now this looked like to me another Rico, money-making Mitch, paid in full type situation where these guys were dealing with each other on a business level. They tried to expand, just like they did in Paid in Full, tried to expand. One guy ended up getting cut out the deal for whatever reason or whatever happened, and the guy that get cut out gets so frustrated, gets so angry, and gets so filled with rage that he actually murdered the guy with the work. And I don't really understand it, even though I would be upset highly if I got cut out of a deal that way. But I don't understand it because once you X him out, the deal's done anyway. Nobody's getting money. But if you deep dig into this story, you realize that he said he'd kill him again if he had the opportunity to. That's how frustrated and angry he was being cut out that deal. And we talking about people that was close to family, y'all. Neighbors. Now, y'all, what's crazy about all of this is I agree with this prosecutor. This was all rooted off jealousy, envy, and hate. Even though I can admit, I would be highly upset if I got X'd out of a $200,000 play. I'm going to keep it all the way real with y'all. And for the people on the East Coast, y'all understand, y'all know New York. New York is one of them places where them guys, they will go from state to state. This is what they do. You know what I mean? I think it's a little risky. I think it's dangerous because a lot of times they get killed in these states. We have seen this before, especially in Baltimore. And y'all heard in this story, the name of the deal was called the Baltimore Deal, where they was going to go to Baltimore, probably the surrounding areas in Maryland, probably touch Washington, D.C., and they was ready to make a lot of money. And Roland Washington and the other guy got upset because they was X'd out of the deal, even though it wasn't Jam Master Jay's fault. The guy in Baltimore wasn't trying to rock with these dudes for whatever reason. Probably got a history. Probably got, their name could be bad in the streets. And that's why I always told y'all, it's never good to have a name that's associated with nonsense, with crime. You understand? Not when you doing business. Now, if that's the line you in, you know what I mean? It's all fair and love and war. But when you doing business, businessmen, even street businessmen, they don't want to associate with guys that's known trigger pullers, you know? Because you might take them off, you know? These guys not trustworthy. And we seen what happened when Jam Master Jay, even though he thought these guys was close to him, one of the dudes even slept on his couch. But we see what happened when you got a hustler dealing with guys that's sharks and wolves. Eventually, they got to eat. And in this situation, Jam Master Jay cut them off, you know, cut their water off, cut off their food supply. So he got ate. And it's tragic, but it's the streets. This is how it always went. And I want to see how this play out, y'all. Like I say, the case now, the murder now is over 20-something years old. So I don't know what the federal government got in this case. You know, you heard some of the evidence. I think one of the guys actually confessed, you know, through the years. They might bring those people up there to testify. But it just comes to a matter of physical evidence. I think it's going to be hard to prove this case circumstantially, but this is the federal government. They'll make a way. Trust me, they will make a way to prove this case. And for their sake, the death penalty is not on the table. Even though, in my opinion, I'd rather die than go to prison for the rest of my life. I promise you. Straight up. Life in prison is not a game. Some of these guys are still relatively young in their 30s. Another one a little older. Then you got another guy that's going to trial in 2025 or 2026. He just was arrested last month. So they'll let you, last year. So that you know there is some talking going on. So somebody is cooperating. Because there's no way you can tell me after damn near 30 years you still locking up people unless somebody is giving information. Straight up. Well, I know how y'all feel about this in the comments. Do y'all think this case is going to lead to a conviction? If it was a state case, I would say no, but we dealing with the feds. Y'all know their conviction rate, and I don't believe their conviction rate is strong because they got strong evidence. I think it's strong because they cheat. That's just my opinion. Other people might feel different. But let me know how you feel about it in the comments. Another day, keep it G News.
Nigga can't do what I do, y'all niggas can't copy me. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep the shit G. Let's keep shit G. Let's keep shit G.